Donald Trump came from the business world, and so he's used to things like business ethics, making deals, standing by those deals, things like that. That's the way business works. I was in business for nearly my entire life, and that's the way I had to work things. Otherwise, things didn't work. Politicians just don't do things the same way. The things that are important to them is the job. Job is job one. They try to increase their power and increase their longevity in office. That's the things that are important to them. Whether they get things done for their constituents or not really doesn't matter unless they need your vote, and that's when it matters. So the whole time that Trump was playing the game of politics, from the time he ran for office to the time that he was elected, he was pretty much playing the politics game, but he was playing it by an entirely different rule book than the career politicians do. The trust that he had in the politicians and the appointees and the people that wanted to help him in the political arena really couldn't be trusted, and he made a mistake of putting his trust in them. Some of the things they did should have been obviously wrong to Trump, but because he came from a business background, he really didn't think that people would treat him like they did. But as we know, they did. He really got caught in all the snares. He got caught with the Hillary's famous Russian dossier. That was an obvious thing that he probably should have caught on to, but he really didn't have the experience in the political arena to realize that people would pull those kind of dirty tricks. How about James Comey? He was his own man, and guess what? He betrayed Trump from the beginning. Trump really didn't understand that he's the one that really needed to be thrown out, not the two little FBI guys that went in to interview General Flynn. And then they said during the interview they didn't feel like Flynn lied to them. So Comey took it on himself to make sure that he did. And all that took was for him to say it. Well, bottom line, there were so many traps, and Trump seemed to get snared in most of them. Granted, he did a lot of good things, and he put the economy on a good footing. People liked Trump except for his mean tweets. Otherwise, he was an okay guy. The mean tweets were even probably just a lack of experience. Had he known how these affect people, he probably wouldn't have done it. Well, of course, we all know that this led to the end of Trump's first term and his two flimsy impeachments that the Democrat Party snared him in. Neither one was a conviction. He skated on that, and then pretty much he ran out of steam. He ran out of time. So now Trump's faced with the biggest trap of all, and that's the Department of Justice. The Department of Justice is run by the President of the United States. Everybody in it's appointed or works there at the pleasure of the United States President. Well, that is pretty much a problem. Merrick Garland is basically enforcer. He has all the appointees in there that he needs to make Trump's life miserable for virtually forever. And then he's got the new people, the ones from the states that think that they can usurp the authority of the federal government in federal matters. Well, I don't think they're right. I think they're very definitely wrong. But still, they're going to make things miserable for Trump in the 2024 election and really make it difficult. And they're going to do it from now till the election's over. If he wins, they'll keep on doing it. There's no stopping them. So remember, with the Department of Justice being run by the President of the United States, who can only be gotten rid of by impeachment, we're in a situation where Trump basically is trapped. He's not only snared in the trap, he's chained to the tree. The guy's really got a rough road ahead of him. I'm not sure that there's anything that can be done. A lot of people are talking about little legal tricks and this and that. But when the president is the one that runs the Department of Justice, Trump's in a pretty bad situation, especially now that he's actually been indicted on charges. Never heard of anything like this before. I think it's disgusting, but that's kind of what we're stuck with right now. Well, now Trump's found himself in the biggest snare of all, and that's the so-called independent Department of Justice. Well, we all know it's not independent. The president runs the Department of Justice, and the president is the one that doesn't want to see Trump in office again. He's running against him. So he's going to turn that little lapdog onto Trump and make sure that Trump has problems, which he has already begun to have. He's been indicted for a series of crimes in both states and federal. So he's got problems ahead of him that are going to be difficult to solve. And bottom line, the president really won't face any consequences, and neither will his staff. Yeah, they might get impeached or something like that, but they're not going to go to jail for it. Nobody ever goes to jail for this kind of stuff. This is totally out of the realm of the normal judicial system. So he'll use the Department of Justice to take down Trump. And there'll really not be anything anybody can do about it. Just going to have another election and see how it comes out. Of course, the way things are going on that, we're not even sure that we can have another election that's fair. So things are in a pretty bad situation at the moment. But remember this about the Department of Justice. Those people are in it for power. Job is job one. They all want to stay there. They don't want to leave. So they're going to do what Joe Biden wants. Of course, Joe Biden won't admit that that's what he wants. He'll pass that responsibility down to Merrick Garland, the Attorney General. And, of course, the Department of Justice also controls the FBI, the ATF. They're friends with the Internal Revenue. Trump's in serious trouble here. He's got the enforcement arm of the United States government on his butt. My theory on this whole thing is that businessman Trump, basically a good guy, basically trying to do the right thing for the country, but he failed in one serious way. When he took office, he didn't understand that all these people were out to get him. They were all out to stay in power, and nothing he did was going to stop them. He didn't do the right thing. He didn't clean house. He should have gotten rid of everybody down to the janitors. I'm not kidding. Everybody in there was out to get him. And for what? Because he's a businessman. He's not a politician. He's not part of their club. So knowing when to quit may be the only solution for Trump, but then again, it may be too late for that. Not sure. That remains to be seen. But I don't think Trump will quit. I think he still hangs on to the belief that he has some ability to control what happens, and he doesn't. The government is all powerful. The Biden syndicate, the DOJ, the various branches under the Department of Justice, all of those are out to get him, and they won't stop. They're not going to let up. As a viable candidate for 2024, I don't think Trump's the one. I don't think he can do it. I don't care what the polls say. The polls are going to be wrong. Trump can't do it. There's just too much to overcome, and it's not going to stop. Basically, he's fallen into a well that's so deep that it's going to take a really long rope to get him out, and I don't think anybody has that rope. Hopefully, if Trump did win in 2024, he'd bring a strong candidate, vice president candidate with him, and then you'd have nearly 12 years to clean up the mess that's been caused by the previous administrations, both Republican and Democrat, and put the country in the situation that it's in now, $30-something trillion in debt. I don't even know what a trillion is. But if that doesn't happen, and we get a 4-year Trump or 4 years somebody else, we're in trouble. I don't think the government would survive in a form that we really know it in the event that that does happen. If the conservatives hang on for 12 years, we may have some hope. If they only get 4, we probably don't. By then, the system will be so badly broken that it's not going to get repaired. So hopefully Trump will make some good decisions on his future. Personally, I hope he just quits. I hope he backs away from all this, and I guarantee you, all of the problems that he's having right now will magically go away. This is JR, the TechSpat OTG, just throwing out some of my ideas on the upcoming elections. I'm not sure that I've got it right, but I think that so far my guesses have been pretty good. Even if Trump wins the next election, I'm not sure conservatives have time to purge the system. I think it's going to take at least 12 years to get it all cleaned out. Probably you'd start to notice the difference after about 6 years. Things would start getting better. But as it is, you've got to get rid of all those career politicians and appointees. They're not playing the same game that Trump is, and they're definitely not playing the game for us. This is JR, the TechSpat OTG. Thanks for watching.